Hi, this is Maria Quattrone, and this is the Be the Solution podcast. And today I welcome my guest and friend, Keith Pike from Arkansas. Welcome, Keith.
Thank you, Maria. I'm excited.
I wanted to be in a business that I did not have a ceiling. Take a pen and a piece of paper, draw a line, draw another line next to it. At 365 days, if you drew 365 lines, you started here with one line, but look how far you've come. Keith, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast today because not only are you in the real estate industry with ReMax Elite in Arkansas, but you are a true entrepreneur. You're an attorney. You have, there you go. You got the shirt on. Yes. You have an insurance company. You're an attorney. You have a mortgage company. Mm-hmm. And you do some coaching too as well.
Yeah. So I have 4 real estate offices and 200 agents, and so that's kind of evolved into coaching and just the success that my agents have had and the success that my companies have had. I'm often asked to speak at different events, and so it's been a whirlwind for sure.
I heard you at the last Chuck Black event. You speak in where was it?
St. Augustine.
Yes, I was virtual.
Yeah,
but I was there in spirit.
I miss seeing your face.
I saw yours. It was a good talk. Actually, I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm actually going to rewatch it this weekend. I actually am going to take some downtime over the holiday. I don't know if that's downtime if I'm watching the. I'm
going to take some downtime on the holiday and do some more work.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, there you have it. That's what my downtime looks like. But it was great. It was a great talk, and I learned a lot from it. So I need to revisit that and soon, because we have a lot of new things going on over here. But forget about that for a minute. Let's talk about you, because you just started in this industry in 2015. You were not selling real estate. You bought a ReMax franchise, and 5-6 short years later, with lots of hard work, you have multiple companies. And I'd like to talk to you today about that entrepreneur journey. Okay. And what that looks like, and how this all came about.
So I've actually been in the industry for a little bit. Back when I was in college, I had partnered with a contractor and started building houses. And I was not a real estate agent yet, but I became licensed, so that at the time I thought I was becoming licensed to put a sign in the yard to save on real estate fees. And
that's a common thing.
Right. Yeah. Because I, like most people, didn't realize everything that real estate agent was doing to earn that fee by putting that sign in the yard. And then suddenly I had to do all those things. And but I was never in real estate full time. Like I said, I was in college at the time. And then when I graduated college, I went to become a computer programmer, kept my real estate licensed, sold maybe 1 or 2 houses a year. And then while I was doing that, I went and got my master's degree. And then I went to law school and became an attorney. And in the process of becoming an attorney, I actually opened up my own real estate company, because I had become I'd been a sales agent for long enough to get my broker's license. And I don't know why I did it, to be honest, because I wasn't even selling real estate full time. But for some reason, and I think that this is still a very common thought, is that the next step in a real estate salesperson's journey is to become a broker and open up their own agency. And really, the next step is to increase your own business and maybe start a team, that kind of thing. Because owning a brokerage is really a completely different business. It's agent services as opposed to client services. It's it's serving the needs of the agent as opposed to serving the needs of the people that are buying and selling houses. And so I did that.
Completely different business.
Absolutely. And so I did that, learned that real quick. And still as a quote brokerage owner, was not full-time. I didn't qualify as being the principal broker in our state. So I had somebody else that was the principal broker for my company. There was just the two of us. And of course I was, I had at least one other full-time job, plus I was in law school, and then I was a full-time attorney. And then in 2015, I decided that I was going to, really somebody from ReMax came in, and I started a law firm. I'd quit my law firm job. I had started a law firm. The day that I start my law firm job, somebody from real estate, from ReMax came in, and his name is Brad Johnson. He was a sales rep, and walked into my office because I was on like an executive floor, where you can like rent individual offices in a building.
Sure. Like they call that work.
I just had like a little individual office, and my door was open, and I'm unpacking a computer. I just got back from Best Buy, and I'm unpacking a computer, and I will never forget this. My foot was like on the box because I'm trying to get the computer out, the monitor out of the box. And I was in like the most awkward position ever. And he walks through my open door and says, "Have you ever thought about opening a ReMax franchise?" This is day one of me starting a law firm. I had just quit my law firm job, where I was making really good money. And I was so unprepared for this, is that I was like setting up my computer. I didn't have a computer set up for the day one of my business. And I was just kind of taken aback by it. And I got up and kind of walked him out the door and said, "No, I haven't." And he said, well, he handed me his business card, and he said, "Do you mind if I call you in 2 weeks when I'm coming back into town? I live in Kansas City." And I said, "Sure." And so I took his business card and I put it in my pocket, and I was going to put it in my phone to block his number. Well, I forgot to block his number. And so 2 weeks later, he calls, and I answer it because, at this point I needed clients, and I was hoping that somebody was calling me to, like for legal needs. And he said, "Hey, I just got in town from Kansas City. Can you come over here to the Hilton? And I rented a conference space, and I'm going to show you everything ReMax has." I said, and at this point.
So did you have any clients yet?
I mean, a few. And I was really kind of panicked at this point because I didn't have any clients. There was no way I was ever going to be able to afford to purchase a ReMax. And I was struggling. And but I didn't, also because I didn't have any clients, I had plenty of free time to drive over to the Hilton.
Sure.
And so I went over there, and I walked into this conference room, and it wasn't a conference room. It was like a ballroom with the largest conference room table I'd ever seen, with like books and flyers and crap all over the place, and a lot of stuff. And there was this like big screen on the wall, like a projector screen. And he had somebody that is kind of I don't know like a director level at our region, who was at ReMax headquarters in Denver at the time. And he was like Skyping in to this little meeting to tell me about ReMax and all these things. And I felt the whole time, I was just feeling so bad that I was wasting everyone's time, because I knew that I couldn't afford to purchase a franchise. And I knew that I had never sold real estate full time. I was just not the person who they were looking for. And so, but I was polite and listened to everything and left. And, a couple months passed by, and I go back, start, kind of my daily grind with trying to drum up legal business and the networking and doing pay-per-click ads and all the things that you do to get business. And a few months later, when he comes by or calls me and asks if he can come meet with me, at this point my legal business had taken off, and I was in a better place. And so I thought, okay, I'd moved to a bigger office, and I'm going to tell him that I'm not doing this. And so he came, and I was feeling confident enough just to level with him. I was like, listen, I'm just not the person that you're looking for. Like I've never sold real estate full time. I don't sell real estate full time. I don't have any money, and I'm barely making ends meet, and I just don't have the money to. But he was completely unconcerned about all this stuff, and he was just saying, "I believe in you," and telling me some things about ReMax and how it helps people, and it helps agents increase their production and different things. And I didn't have to worry about my lack of personal experience, that ReMax could teach me how to teach agents to sell real estate. And so at that point, I was a little more open to it because I'd laid all my cards out on the table and it wasn't a problem. And a few days later, I went to a real estate school because I'm an attorney. There's a real estate school in town that likes me to come in and allow agents and brokers to ask me questions as an attorney. And so I was at this real estate school, and they were doing a question answer. And then after I spoke, they gave a break, and the guy that owned the real estate school, he was like, "Hey, there's this place over here for rent. You should go check it out." And I had told nobody that I was thinking about opening up ReMax or a real estate company.
So
I don't know why he told me about it, to be honest. But I drove by over there, and I called the number, and I said, "Hey, you're probably not going to rent this to me because I'm going to open up a business that I don't know if it's going to succeed, and I can only have." How did he know that I was going to open up a real estate business? Uh-oh. Hey, can you hear me
Are
okay?
you there? Yeah. Keith, I'm here.
Uh-oh. I think I don't know if I'm having internet issues or what.
You're okay.
Are you there? Am I?
Yes.
Am I good?
You're good.
So I don't know. I think that it was just like a fluke thing that he knew of a place that was open, that was vacant. And I went over there, called the landlord, said, "You're not going to want to rent this to me. I can barely afford to pay anything. I can't have a long lease because I don't know if this business is going to last." And she was like, "Okay, fine. Let's give this a shot." And then that was, maybe around summer. This all kind of first started in March, and this was a few months later. So this is around summer. Within a couple of days, I happened to go out to lunch with another friend who owned a moving company, like a college hunks hauling junk moving company. And he was a young guy, and I was asking how he could afford to buy that franchise and buy the trucks. And he was like, "Oh, I got a small business loan." And I was like, "What?" I was like, they gave you a small business loan with no income. And he said, he was like, "Yeah, that's the purpose of an SBA loan. You don't have to have income. It's based on the business that you're opening." And so he gave me the contact information for the company that he used, and I contacted them, and it was just like, yeah, we can do this, no problem. And I was like, "I don't have any income. I got all kinds of debt. I don't know." They were like, yeah. And it was just,
and they're just giving you free money.
Yeah. I mean, they hired somebody to come, and they paid for it. I didn't pay for it. They hired somebody to do a business prospectus that would say the opportunities in the market, the challenges in the market, the competitors, the opportunity for agents. They gave me this whole report. that I guess has to be submitted to the SBA people. And this company probably knew that I wasn't going to like create that myself. And so I guess they had contracted with somebody to help people do that. And this person came and like interviewed me, and it was like, I read that report, and it was like really professional and thought out. And it was kind of a cool thing. So that got submitted, and, I had to submit like, my tax returns and all those things. And I kept telling them that, like, why am I submitting this? Because it's like, you're not going to be able to approve me off of the money that I'm making, because I'm not making anything. And they said, like, don't worry about it. This is just the things that are required, but no decisions are based on that. And so that drug on for a long time, months, trying to get an SBA loan. But they kept assuring me, yep, everything's fine. Like, it's a long process. Sorry. And then towards the end of the year, I'm going to say it was like a few days before Thanksgiving, they told me that I was approved for the loan. Luckily, that space that I had looked at had been vacant for several months, and nobody had rented. Well, there was 3 suites. I was going to rent all 3. One of the suites had been taken, and they had put a wall up. And so there was only 2 suites left. I took those 2 suites, and it kind of worked out because it made the rent a little bit cheaper. And then like a week later, I was flying out to Denver to go to Broker 101. And I had signed the paperwork like the day before I had flown out. And then that was in mid-December. And then the next week, I think, was like Christmas. And then the next week, I opened up my ReMax, January 1st of 2015. And my front desk was a card table that I purchased, I think, from Target for like $20, a $17 chair that I'd bought from Walmart. That was the front desk table, like the front desk. And then I had no furniture. I had ordered some furniture, but it was taking like 6 weeks to get in. So when we opened, you walked in, it was literally a vacant space with a card table. We had our first we opened January 1st. We had our first closing on March 31st of that year. And it was actually my closing.
You bought a house?
No, my father-in-law had, he knew that I was opening up a company, and he had a friend that was looking to buy a house. It was like maybe $130,000 house. And he had referred them to me. And so I didn't have any agents. And so I represented them and helped them buy a house. I think that was probably the only house I sold in 2015. I wasn't able to keep any of that money because that was our first income since opening, and I had to use that to help pay rent. And in the meantime, I was charging up credit cards, using all those loan funds. Luckily, some of the loan funds that I got from the SBA was like operating money, a very small amount. So
what did they approve you for?
$100,000, because that was the minimum they would give. And so they gave me $100,000. I was super nervous about it. That was a lot of money. I'd never seen that amount of money before. And, in fact, it was so much money that when I went to Denver, and, I'm eating up some of these loan funds flying to Denver. Like, I had to use that money to fly to Denver, to pay for the hotel there, to go through Broker 101 with ReMax. And the first, I don't know, maybe 3 days that I was at Broker 101, I wasn't paying attention to anything that was happening because I was literally planning bankruptcy. I was thinking, I'm in way over my head because they're going around the room and everybody's introducing themselves. And like, this person is, they've 17 years in the business, and this person runs a 20-person team, and this person's has an independent brokerage and they're converting it to ReMax. And then there's me, like, I'm like, hey, I'm a part-time agent and I'm broke and I don't know how to sell real estate, and I'm going to be successful. And so,
yes, you are.
And
look at you now.
I felt like a complete fraud and an imposter in there. And so like it was at that moment that they were introducing themselves and everybody was saying how great they were. I was the very last person to talk. I was sitting in the back of the room. So I was the very last person to introduce myself. So I was kind of embarrassed when I got there, or, you know, when they got to me. And so I spent the next few days like thinking, okay, can I keep my house? Can I keep my car? Like, what can I do? Like, okay, these credit cards will go away, and that kind of stuff. I talked to another one of my friends that's an attorney, and he was like, don't worry. Like, if you file bankruptcy, like that SBA loan will go away too. And so, I went back.
You were not helping yourself, Keith, at this
No,
time.
no, I wasn't.
You were like the worst enemy
Right.
we created.
Yeah. So, but you know what? I didn't go out there with that mindset. I let myself get into that mindset by comparing everyone else's journey to mine.
Right.
And when I realized that I didn't have that same journey that everyone else had, like I started doubting myself. So
and that's easy to do.
Yeah.
You know, especially you don't realize it. You know, comparison is a thief of joy. It's just destroys people.
I have to, you know, I'll be having a really good day and be living a really good life and things are going really well. And I'll get on like Facebook or Instagram and like, I'll find myself like getting upset and I don't know why. It's like I'm comparing like, oh my God, like, why aren't I doing that too? Like, why is it like, why aren't like, you know, it's just like, it's that.
I was on it yesterday and I had to get off because I couldn't, I felt an overwhelm actually.
Yeah. There's people,
and I'm thinking, and we all do it. It's part of human nature, I think. Anyway.
Yeah. But this wasn't on social media. This was like happening live.
Which is terrible.
Right. But
we've all been in those rooms, right? We've all been in those rooms where we felt inferior.
And listen, you know, these people that were real estate veterans, you know, they were dressed professionally and they had nice clothes and nice things and nice shoes. And like, I was not on their level. And, so anyway, but that day, it was Wednesday, they started teaching momentum in Broker 101, like telling us about momentum, telling us the modules and planning out different things and showing the training modules that we were going to be able to go back and train agents with. And that's really kind of where things turned around for me because I finally saw that there were tools that I could use. And I thought at the very least, if I can't recruit an agent, I'm just going to use these tools myself and go sell real estate using these tools. And so that's kind of where things turned around for me. And I started to get really motivated starting that Wednesday. And then by the time I flew back, I was just like really like motivated and charged. And I had two choices. You know, I was either going to go bankrupt or I was going to recruit agents to come work at this company. And so I picked up the phone. I started making phone calls and I didn't know who to call because I really wasn't in the business. And so I turned to the few people that I knew in the business and that were friends on Facebook. And I sent them private messages on Facebook. And I said, hey, I'm opening up this real estate company and I'm looking for people that are looking to make a move or looking for a new opportunity. Do you know anybody? And all these people worked at other real estate companies. And my real motivation by saying that was to get them to say, well, tell me about it. Not one person did, but I'm going to say probably 2 or 3 people gave me names of people to call. I called those people. 100% of those people are still with us, are still at our company. Of the people, like none of the people that I reached out to are, right? But they recommended people and like those people are still with us and they were among our first agents and they're still with us. And then when those people came, you know, I was like, hey, like we're growing and we need agents. Do y'all know anybody? And so like they would give me names and And then it turned into me looking on the MLS, and I would run a search in the MLS and see like who has listed a house this week. And because those people are obviously like actively working in the business. Who's sold a house this month? Those people are actively working in the business. And then I would literally just pick up the phone and call those people. Got hung up on a lot, got screamed at, from other companies that were known for those companies known for being recruiters, like really hate being recruited. And when I was recruiting them, they just didn't like it. But the very first of those people that I called yelled and screamed at me for like having the nerve to call her, and then said, if you want any shot at getting me to your company, you better show up today at 11 to my BNI meeting. Because I guess she had to bring a guest, and I think you get a point or something if you bring a guest. So I showed up and attended her BNI thing. She paid for my lunch. She ended up joining my company like 2 months later, and she's still with me. And I think to this day is the only recruiting appointment that I've ever been to where the recruit paid for my lunch. And that was pretty amazing.
That's funny.
And then, it just kind of snowballed from there because I was going through the actions, and I had agents in my pipeline, and then we were growing quickly, which caused a whole bunch of people in the market to be like, what's happening over there? And it just created this magnet that just kept attracting agents, even to this day. And so we went, from a very short time ago until now, we went from 0 offices and a card table and to having 4 offices and almost 200 agents, and a mortgage company and an insurance company and a media company.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So one step at a time.
It is literally one step at a time, because people ask me all the time, how can you possibly run all these companies? How can you possibly give attention to all these agents, deal with all these problems, and then continue to grow? And I don't think about it. I don't think about how large it is. I don't think about how much there is to do. I think about what's in front of me. I don't make up all of the problems that are down the road. I deal with what's in front of me today, and then I plan for the future. So I'm planning for how things are going to be and not worrying about how things are going to be. I'm trying to control what's going to happen as opposed to waiting and seeing what's going to happen. I think that's where a lot of people that want to be entrepreneurs get messed up, is that they wait and see what's going to happen to them. And they live in this fear.
That's
and they're paralyzed.
Bad plan.
They're paralyzed by it. And it keeps them from growing and going and going anywhere. And I just was not in a place where I could afford to wait and see what happened. I had to make this happen, and I had to make this happen. And, I was never planning. People ask me all the time, were you planning for this to be as big as it is? And no, I wasn't. But I quickly found out how thin the margins are for a real estate brokerage. And, I thought I was at 20 agents, I was going to be good. But at 20 agents, you have different needs. You need more staff. And so you add another staff. Well, then now you need another 10 agents. Well, as you add agents, you have more and more needs, and the margins are just outrageously thin. And because agents don't want to give up any more of their commission than they have to. And so you just have to keep growing in that way. And our agents know that there's 3 ways that a brokerage can survive. We can either ask the agents to pay more money, we can go get more agents, or the agents can use ancillary services. And, I tell our agents that I am choosing not to reach into your pocket and get more money from you. I'm choosing to grow the brokerage and use ancillary services. And so that's what we're doing. And it's working.
So after you had the ReMax going, when did you start your next company, and which one was it?
So my next company was the mortgage company, but I had one office that I started in 2015, and then I started in January 2015. I opened my second office in January 2016. I wasn't really meaning to. Somebody, her name is Evelyn Dean. She's still one of my agents. She walked into my Little Rock office one day, and she lived about 30 minutes away. And she said, "Hey, can an agent that lives in this town over here operate out of this office?" And it's the same MLS, right? And it's just 30 minutes away. I was like, "Absolutely. I have another agent that lives there." And so we talked for a couple of hours, maybe an hour, and she left, and I didn't even get her name. It was it was a very crazy thing. But she was an agent, and she was, I think, nervous about talking with me because she didn't want anybody to find out. So anyway, so she left. I didn't know if I was ever going to hear from her again. I didn't even know how to contact her because I didn't even get her name. And then she called me, I think, the next day and said, "Hey, can we meet with you?" And I said, "Who's we?" And she was like, "I'm bringing 3 people with me." And so the next day she brought 3 people, and it was the 4 of them. And we met, and I believe 3 of those people are joined. And one of them didn't, and he started his own company. But I just started, and then I started, adding
Office number 2.
I started adding agents in that town. Well, it got to the point where I had 10 agents in that town, I think. And I had to call ReMax and be like, "I got a problem." And I said, "I got 10 agents here and experienced agents. Like, I need a place for them," because one of the agents went and rented an office space and didn't put a ReMax sign up. But like the first year that we had a franchise there, our office the lease was in that agent's name. The utilities were in that agent's name. Like the internet was in that agent's name.
Boy.
And
you're like, "I better do something about this."
Yeah, I got to put a sign up, like I got to legitimize. That's what I told ReMax. I'm like, I got to legitimize this operation there. And so they sold me a franchise. I opened up my second franchise, January 2016. So that was technically my second business. And then I think later that year, I'm going to say October, November, I opened up a third franchise in a different city that was about another 30 minutes away in a different direction. And wasn't meaning to, but there was a very kind of similar thing happening there. And then a year later, no, that same year, I think 2016, I started things. I think we were starting to put things in motion to open up the Kansas City office in Overland Park, Kansas. And then in 2017, in July of 2017, opened up my 4th office, and in North Little Rock. And then later that year of 2017 is when I signed the paperwork to start the mortgage company. And that is kind of like the first business that I started that was outside of a real estate business.
So when you were 2017, you have 3 offices.
In 2017, I had 5 offices.
Oh, you had all 5 opened.
I had 5 ReMax offices opened, and by July.
And how many agents?
That's a really good question. Under 100.
Oh, so, under 100.
Yeah. So it was because I was opening up offices and then growing them. So like when I opened up the Conway office, I only had 10 agents there, right? When I opened up the Conway office, my Little Rock office, I think only had 17 or 18 agents. And these were still baby companies, and it could have gone the wrong way real quick. I could have easily overextended myself. And when people were seeing, like, other people within ReMax or the industry were seeing that I was opening up these offices, they were just like, whoa, guy, like, you're opening up all these offices. You need to slow down a little bit. And because I was opening these offices and they still needed agents added to them, and which kind of like fueled the pressure to continue growing in recruiting, is because I still I was never really in a comfortable place where I could just be like, okay, I've recruited enough, I need to sit back, because I needed to continue to add agents into those offices to make each of those offices self-sustainable and profitable. And then at the end of 2017, when I opened up the mortgage company, one of my friends wanted to buy me out of my office in Overland Park, and that kind of came at the same time that I was opening the mortgage company. I'm literally within days, and so that's why I no longer have that fifth office. I kind of replaced that fifth office with the mortgage company.
And the mortgage company has been something that's been very successful.
It has been, yes.
Yeah. You got Motto Mortgage,
yes.
Entrepreneur Owner of the Year last year. So in 2020.
Yeah. So
that's a big honor. That's super exciting.
So listen, 2020, with the pandemic and everything, it was really crazy. But I think I work really well under pressure, and because it forces me out of like my comfort zone maybe, and like I really start hustling. And during the pandemic, we added more agents than we ever have. And our sales were higher than they've ever been ever. And I opened up 2 businesses during the pandemic. I opened up the insurance company and the media company during the pandemic. And it resulted in, earlier this year, I was Recruiter of the Year for the state of Arkansas for ReMax. I got Broker Owner of the Year for the state of Arkansas for ReMax. I got Broker Owner of the Year for the United States for ReMax. And I got Broker Owner of the Year for the United States for Motto Mortgage, which was really awesome. But next year is going to really suck, because it's not like they're going to give me all those awards every year. So I was like, guys, let's space out all these awards, right? So that like I maybe get like one a year. And but it was really cool getting them all, this year. But next year is going to be like
no, I doubt it. What do you attribute, Keith? What do you attribute to all of this? I mean, a lot of people last year in their businesses went in the other direction, and there was a lot of people that had a lot of success in 2020. What do you think was the critical piece for you?
I really didn't have the option of like holding up and being safe. I didn't. There was too many, when I have all these companies, I have all these agents, I have all these employees, I have loan originators, I have insurance agents. There's so many people that are depending on me that I had to make things work. I had to go out there and make things happen. And I did not have another choice. I just didn't. And I wasn't reckless. I carried around gloves and Lysol'd myself every time I went someplace, and double masked up. And I have a video of myself like having 4 masks on. Like I would have a disposable and then a mask over that, and then like a mask strapped over that, and then one of those net gaiters up over that to kind of hide the fact that I was wearing 4 masks. It just looked like I was wearing a net gaiter. And like that, I still like have like, I probably bought like $2,000 worth of spray hand sanitizer during the pandemic. And I mean, I was spraying down everything because I was having to be out there while, all over the news, people dying and hospitals are overwhelmed. Well, like there were still things that needed to be done. So I was just having to like suit up and spray myself down and get out there and get to work.
And you sure did get out there and get to work with your 4 mask.
Right.
You think back on that, you have to be like, 4 masks.
Yeah.
We didn't know. Nobody
we didn't
knew.
know. Like
I know.
Like every day on the news, it was something different. Like one day masks weren't
No, we weren't supposed to wear them.
Yeah, don't wear masks. They don't help.
Don't wear 2 masks.
Yeah, exactly. Then and so like I didn't know what to think, and I'm like really too busy to do it. So I'm just like doing whatever the news is telling me that day, right? So, and then they're telling us to spray everything down, and then spray your shoes before you enter the house, and then when you leave the house and you come back, immediately take off all your clothes and take a shower. I don't know if you remember that, Grace.
I do actually. My husband every day would take off his clothes in the garage, all of them, and come upstairs. Well, and
where's this going, Maria?
No. And I was stuck in the house. I wasn't allowed out of the house. Yeah. Right. I had to stay in the house for 10 weeks. I was like,
oh my gosh. Wow.
I did. I worked like 14-hour days, but I stared at the computer.
Yeah.
But thinking back, it was pretty crazy. And I used to wash all the food down. The food would get delivered in boxes, in bags. I take everything out. I'd have a hot water in the sink. I'd wash it all down. Then I'd spray it all down. Yeah.
Well, that's what we were being told at the time. And, we closed down all of our offices at one point. Then when we opened them back up, I had sanitation stations where I made people I had this whole ritual that agents had to do before they could enter our office. They had to hand sanitize before they touched the doorknob to come in because I didn't want them infecting the outside doorknob. And then as soon as they came in, they had to hand sanitize themselves again right there at the door. And then they immediately had to go to the bathroom and wash their hands because that was at the time, that was the CDC guidance that you hand sanitize and you wash your hands. And so, then the CDC kind of started loosening up about everything that it wasn't spreading on surfaces. Well, then it was, we kind of scrapped all that. And
I never washed my hands so much in my life.
Oh my gosh.
But in my own house, I'm in my own house, not leaving 50 times a day, spraying everything down like it was,
okay, Maria, here's what's crazy is that I'm still doing it in my own house. Almost every time I do something or touch something, I go wash my hands. It's a little much, but I just got into that habit over, 2020, as if somebody's coming in and touching my stuff between me touching it, But, what was really cool about the pandemic as well is that, a lot of people adapted. We were doing virtual showings and, our clients, even if we were out there, venturing out, our clients were still at the house and we're doing virtual walkthroughs with them and showing them houses and they're buying things, through, without physically going there, they're putting in offers on things just through FaceTime and through Zoom. And, our industry adapted and it was really nice. And, a lot of our industry is already electronic signatures and there's not a whole lot of wet signatures on anything anymore, at least in our state. So it was really something that could continue in a safe way, to be honest. When you're showing a house, it's not like there's a bunch of people in that house at the same time. It's typically just you and your client. And that's if your client's not doing a virtual showing. So it could just be you in that house alone.
So for us, Keith, I don't know if you remember, but the reason why I was in the house for 10 weeks is because we were shut down for 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I had to work from the computer. Thank God for that.
So real estate was not an essential in your state, was it?
It was not. We were the last state to open. I think we opened on, we closed March 20th, and it was 10 weeks, 70 days.
Yeah. Wow.
May 30th, maybe we opened or something like that. And whatever it was, a few days later, like maybe like 2 or 3 days later, I had to come in the office. I had to clean because literally there were cobwebs in here. So I couldn't be with the cobwebs and spiders for 10 weeks of no one being here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we had some other little friends come visit us too. Well, but I opened up, I had it all cleaned up and everything. And on June 1st, I was back in here, and we've been back in the office. So we're, a smaller company, but not everybody, just a few people were here, but now we're back in the office. We have our sales meetings.
We were one of the few states that never. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Or you cut out just for a second after you're a smaller company. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I frozen?
I can hear you, Keith.
Am I frozen?
No. I can hear you.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. Keith? Uh-oh. Keith?
Yeah, there we go. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Hey.
Okay.
I think I might be having internet issues for some reason. Can you hear me?
I can.
Maria?
Yes. Oh.
Hello?
We're here.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Keith?
I can see you. Okay.
I can hear you.
I can see you. I can see you.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I'm having internet issues.
Keith, we can hear you if you can hear me.
Let's see.
He's frozen. Oh, Keith has been a great guest today. I love his energy and his enthusiasm. Hopefully he will get unfrozen in a moment. But this is what happens when you rely on technology. Stuff happens. Anyway, I loved hearing his story. It's so inspirational. He's a great friend, a great human. And I applaud him for all his success and everything that he's been doing and how he's a leader in his community. So thanks everybody for watching today. I appreciate you. Continue to keep being the solution for you and your agents and your company and your businesses, and make it a great and rest of the week. Happy Memorial Day weekend.